the entire scheme. Live on the Senate floor, Rand Paul exposed how a hidden provision deep in a massive spending bill would silently kill the entire U.S. hemp industry. No debate, no headlines, just devastation buried on page 163. And now, you're about to see the moment it all unraveled.
Instead of a clean CR, this bill contains language that has been airdropped in that will destroy hemp farming in Kentucky and across the United States. Tucked away on page 163, Title VII, Division B of this spending package is a provision that will shut down the hemp industry across the United States. My amendment would strip the provision designed to regulate the hemp industry to death. The bill as it now stands overrides the regulatory frameworks of several states, cancels the collective decisions of hemp consumers, and destroys the livelihoods of hemp farmers. And it couldn't come at a worse time for America's farmers. Times are tough for our farmers. Farmers' costs have increased as the price of fertilizer and machinery have jumped, while prices for their crops like soybean, corn, and wheat have declined. For many farmers, hemp has proved to be a lifeline, a new cash crop. Farmers turn to growing hemp to mitigate the losses they've endured during this season of hardship. But that lifeline may soon be extinguished by this very legislation. The effective hemp ban included in this spending package is a result, we are told, of bad actors skirting the legal limits by overly enhancing the concentration of THC in their products. The hemp industry, myself and others, have come together and we have been willing to negotiate to get rid of the bad actors. And yet, instead, we are met with legislation that would be prohibition. Members of the industry, myself and others who are advocates of this, have been willing to get rid of synthetic cannabinoids. We have been willing to compromise at every turn, but we're met with the numbers in this bill which will eradicate the hemp industry. For the last several weeks, we've offered proposals with the goal of creating an environment in which the hemp industry could thrive and sell products. And we've been met with those who want to prohibit the industry from continuing. This bill's per-serving THC content limit would make illegal any hemp product that contains more than 0.4 milligrams. That would be nearly 100% of the existing market. The numbers put forward in this bill will eliminate 100% of the hemp products in our country. That amounts to an effective ban because the limit is so low that the products intended to manage pain or anxiety will lose their effect. The states have done what they're supposed to. The states have instituted laws. 23 states have instituted laws on hemp. None of them have limits anywhere close to what is being proposed in this bill. So what will happen is most of the things that your states have regulated, are regulating, and have made legal will be made illegal by this bill. This bill will effectively preempt and nullify all state laws concerning hemp. Currently, Maine limits THC to 3 milligrams per serving. That will be overruled. My home state limits THC to 5 milligrams in beverages. That will be overruled. Minnesota, Utah, Louisiana also have 5 milligrams per serving. Alabama and Georgia have 10 milligrams. Tennessee has 15 milligrams. The bill before us nullifies all these state laws and makes the hemp industry kaput. The language in this bill will outlaw all current hemp plants and seeds. It changes the definition of what a hemp plant is. It makes it so low that there may not even be an existing plant that can meet the parameters. But every plant in the country will have to be destroyed. Every hemp seed in the country will have to be destroyed. This is the most thoughtless, ignorant proposal to an industry that I've seen in a long, long time. The states have made progress, and more progress was coming. Most states have age limits. To add insult to injury, we are given this legislation in an appropriation bills. We have Senate rules against this. So I would recommend that we vote for this amendment, and my amendment would strip out the language, and I would like to transfer the remainder of my time to Senator Merkley.
Mr. President, thank you very much. And
Before I recognize the senator from Oregon, I know it's late, but if everybody could take their conversations off the floor and give the respect to the speaker, please.
I
recognize the senator from Oregon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really ask my colleagues, particularly on this side, to hear me out on this. The senators from Kentucky and Oregon cooperated to create the first research on hemp. We cooperated to give the first opportunity to move research seeds across state lines. We cooperated and pushed to create hemp as a legitimate agricultural product. CBD derived from hemp has been approved by the FDA. We would wipe out an industry that we have spent more than a decade creating. Now, the advocates for this language that's in the bill will tell you this won't affect CBD. Every expert I've consulted has said that is exactly wrong, that this will in fact wipe out 95 to 99% of the industry. My colleague from Kentucky is exactly right. We asked our farmers to engage in this research. We asked them to build this industry. We should protect it for CBD. I support my other colleague from Kentucky who doesn't want intoxicated products produced from hemp. But the definition that is in this bill does far more than that, and it has to be fixed. So for now, it needs to be stripped out. Please support Senator Paul's position.
Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from Kentucky.
The language I helped secure in the Agriculture Appropriations Bill addresses a serious concern regarding the manufacturing and selling of unregulated, intoxicating THC products nationwide. I led the effort to legalize industrial hemp through the 2014 pilot program and the 2018 Farm Bill. Unfortunately, companies have exploited a loophole in the 2018 legislation by taking legal amounts of THC from hemp and turning it into intoxicating substances and then marketing it to children in candy-like packaging and selling it easily accessible places like gas stations and convenience stores all across our country. So children end up being the unknowing consuming of these poisonous products and being sent to the hospital at an alarming rate. My efforts to close the loophole and stop this from happening are included in this appropriations package. It will keep these dangerous products out of the hands of children while preserving the hemp industry for farmers. Industrial hemp and CBD will remain legal for industrial applications such as seed, stock, fiber, grain oil, or used in drug trials. This language merely classifies the original intent of the 2018 Farm Bill, rooting out the bad actors and protecting the growing hemp industry. While some may masquerade as advocates for hemp farmers, even sometimes threatening to hold up government funding over this issue, I'll continue to work on behalf of Kentucky's farmers while protecting our children, not only in my state, but in yours as well. I would urge my colleagues to do the same. Therefore, I move to table Senate Amendment 3941 and ask for the ayes and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks.
What you just witnessed was a rare moment of truth, erupting in a chamber built on quiet deals and buried betrayals. Senator Rand Paul stood up not just for Kentucky, but for every American farmer who was misled, every entrepreneur who believed the government's promise, and every state whose laws are now being steamrolled by federal overreach. On paper, this was just a clause in a massive spending bill. In reality, it was a coordinated takedown of the legal hemp industry in America, an industry built on bipartisan trust, scientific research, rich, and economic survival. What the public wasn't supposed to see was a few lines of legislation tucked into Title VII, Division B, page 163, that would redefine hemp so narrowly, so severely, that 100% of the current market would be criminalized overnight, the THC limits, so low they would wipe out nearly all hemp-derived wellness products used to manage pain, anxiety, and PTSD. The plant definitions? So rigid, even the seeds used to grow hemp would be illegal, and worst of all, every state law, from Maine's 3 milligram THC cap to Tennessee's 15 milligram limit, would be nullified, dismissed, and replaced by a one-size-fits-all federal prohibition crafted behind closed doors. This wasn't a move to regulate, it was a move to eliminate, and that's what makes it so dangerous. The justification? That some bad actors were turning legal hemp into synthetic THC products and marketing them to kids. That's a real concern. No one disputes it, but instead of surgically targeting those exploiters, Congress is torching the entire industry, including the law-abiding farmers, the CBD researchers, and the businesses that have invested years building legitimacy. It's the political equivalent of using a missile to swat a fly and letting the blast incinerate the village. Senator Wyden made it clear this would wipe out 95 to 99% of the hemp industry. This isn't speculation, it's devastation, backed by expert consensus. And it's not just economic, it's personal. For farmers struggling with soaring fertilizer costs, machinery prices, and falling yields on traditional crops, hemp became a lifeline, not a luxury, survival. The government encouraged them, they complied, they invested, and now that lifeline is being yanked from under them, not by drought, not by market failure, but by the very government that gave them the green light. How do you explain that to a family who sank their savings into hemp acreage? How do you justify telling veterans that their trusted CBD pain relief will now be classified as contraband? This bill doesn't regulate harm, it erases hope. And it's being pushed under the pretense of child safety while sidestepping the very state frameworks that already protect consumers through age restrictions, testing, and THC caps. It's federal paternalism disguised as public service. And behind it all lies the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud, institutions protect themselves. They would rather scorch the earth than admit failure in drafting a flawed 2018 farm bill. They would rather rebrand betrayal as clarification than hold bad actors accountable through smart enforcement. This moment exposed how easily the government can break its own promises, override state sovereignty, and devastate entire sectors without facing the people they hurt. It's not just about hemp, it's about what happens when bureaucrats and lobbyists can destroy livelihoods without a single headline, hiding behind the camouflage of complexity. Ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who lobbied for this language? Who gets stronger when independent hemp businesses get weaker? And who gets silenced in the process? Senator Paul called it what it is, a prohibition masquerading as protection. And make no mistake, if they can do this to hemp, they can do it to anything innovation. Medicine, food, speech. They don't need to outlaw it. They just need to regulate it into extinction. And when that happens, it's the small business owners, the farmers, the veterans, the patients, and the working class who pay the price. Not the corporations, not the consultants, and certainly not the politicians who will never face the fallout. This is why no one is above the Constitution. Not senators, not unelected rule writers, not committee chairs who bury bans and funding bills. The Constitution wasn't built for convenience. It was built to protect the people from exactly this kind of quiet coercion. So here's your moment. Don't scroll past it. Don't let it disappear into the noise. Share this video with your community. Tag your senators. Ask them, did you know about page 163? Do you support destroying the hemp industry? Will you stand for the Constitution or the committee room backdoor deals? Subscribe to this channel if you want more breakdowns that cut through the spin. And stay loud, because silence is compliance, and power counts on both.